Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the CCR network. What's going on today? What's going on today? Sorry, if you could hear that in the background, just making sure my the voice was working. It was working fine. We are headed to Jeddah today. Jeddah is in Saudi Arabia, and it's going to be a little bit different this evening. We have a 18-minute short qualifying session. This is going to be followed by a sprint qualifying, so there'll be 5 laps of flat-out racing. So the short qualifying will set the grid for the 5 lappers, and then the 5-lap race will then set the grid for the 50% race. So lots to do today to get through, and it's a quick race actually. Because it's quite a short, flat-out track, obviously, for those of you who have watched the 2 in real-life races, and then there's been 2 SFR races around Jeddah, and I think there was an NRL race late last season, for Jeddah as well. So it does go by pretty quickly. The drivers do drive very fast. It's a very fast track. Well, most drivers drive fast. I mean, people like Kachow and Mark of Kenya tend to put it in a wall. Honesy tends to drive around with no fuel for 2 laps, and Mr. Woot just wins races, mate. So yeah, let's put it all on Mr. Woot. Now we have a championship battle that is still alive and kicking. We have 3 drivers going for the world title. It'll take a little while to get into the session, and Dace has left, so I think we've got an issue with Dace. He should be back shortly, hopefully. He's got 18 minutes to rejoin the lobby. Let's just have a quick look. And right, so yeah, we're just having a quick look on the Discord to see what was going on. But we've got a car going. It's an Alpine, and it's the Alpine of... Oh, look who's going out first. For the first time in forever. We have a wild Mark of Kenya out on the circuit. Now, this guy does not like qualifying for some reason. He always tends to leave the pit lane last. But today he's out first and taking very Willan's pipelines through the S's section at the end of the first sector. So we're going to follow. Oh, and I think he completely took his eyes off the road there and forgot to brake. Hopefully his qualifying attempt will be a hell of a lot better. But we'll ride on board for the entirety of Mark of Kenya's flying lap, unless he makes a huge mistake. So he's going to be the first driver to show us what it is like to drive around this circuit. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's actually watching what he's doing at the minute, or if he is just doing Mark of Kenya things. But yes, I was talking about the championship battle. Whilst he takes us around, let me just get a quick look at the championship standings. Here we go. So we have Cali Rob, Nathan Samba, or ERC Samba, who is on here. I'll go through that very shortly, but let's just let Mark of Kenya take us around the Jeddah circuit. So we DRS zone across the start-finish line into turns 1 and 2. Good overtaking spots. Here, if you get that around the outside or up the inside on braking, you follow it round to the right-hand side for the turn 2. You use the exit curve as much as you possibly can. Now we're coming into the very tight and tricky S's section. You just about managed to keep it valid through there. Very easy to invalidate your lap through this section. It's pretty much flat out. You have got a lift up, and unfortunately he has invalidated. So let's jump on board with the next available driver, who is going to be the... where is it? There's Sam. Vengeance. So Vengeance is just starting his flying lap. So let's ride on board now with Vengeance as you come back up to the S's section. Once again, very easy to invalidate. He does go off the track, but just about manages to keep it valid through there. He comes around this section. It's literally flat out. A few lifts here and there on the rev limiter at one point around there, but sometimes you just forget to change the gear up because you're thinking so much about your steering. Here he comes into the horseshoe. The pretty much a hairpin, but you don't really break into it properly. It's pretty much flat out as most of the track is, and we come through. Oh, I just touched the wall there. I don't think he's causing any damage, but he is invalidated. We'll stay on board for him for the rest of the lap. As you know, it's pretty much all the way around now. It's pretty much all flat out through this section. We're going to have a left-right here. And come around, and now it's flat out all the way to the end. So we've got DRS here. DRS opens up, and then there's another deflection point. Actually, on this game, it's round the corner. In real life, it is here. So you had obviously Max and Charles a couple of weeks ago in the real life race. That's the deflection point, that line just there. As Dundee goes fastest with a 1:28.087, first on the board, a medium tyre. And Mark Kenya is attempting another lap. He's coming through the GPS section where he went off earlier. He does lift off a lot more than he did earlier. Kachow goes with a 27.3, so goes to the original pole on the soft tyre, and Mark Kenya has invalidated again. Exotic is invalidated. I see a lot of red tracks because, yeah, it's so easy to invalidate your lap, especially when you're on flat out. So this is one of the drivers who is currently going for the championship. Actually, it pretty much goes down to Holmesy in P4. He's just won the SFR championship. He is only 27 points behind Kelly Robin first. So it's a race win, a little bit more. With 2 races left, it could make things very interesting. Henry is still valid, and he is just about to cross the line. Self-proclaimed sweat master in time trial goes fastest. And by about 6/10 actually, it's a good time. Look at the gap. Yeah, 6/10 exactly, plus 1,000. So that's a pretty good time from him. NRL Ben, favourite driver in NRL. Always hope for good point scoring finishes for him. Very consistent driver. Put his hands up and say you can't do this, but you don't have to be quick to get good points. You just have to be consistent, and that's what this guy is. Then comes through. He's got one more braking zone, which is the left-hander. Oh, and he just doesn't brake enough, but he's invalid. That's a good recovery there. Didn't look like he was going to get the car slowed down at all, but he managed to get the front end fighting. We've got one more braking zone just before the end of the lap, and then he'll come across the start-finish line so that he takes as much outside curb as he possibly can to get the tighter apex on the inside, runs over the outside curve, and comes under the STC sign and goes across the line and puts himself into P8, P9. He's dropped down one as someone else across the line, but 3.5 seconds off the pace, but he's got more than that. He has. Exotic is on a fresh set of softs on an outlap. Donny Lee is serving a one-shot qualifying session. He's in the pits. Lee Romer is out on the track on his outlap now. Where is Tots and where is Tonga Cross? Tots is going to be going across the line first. The running balls, and while we wait for that, we finally go through the championship standings. So Kelly Rob currently in P1 in the championship with 130.5 points. We had an Austria race at the beginning of the season which completely glitched out. So we offered half points for that race. So Kelly Rob in first, ERT Sandler in second, Henry in third, and Holmesy in fourth. So we've got Kelly Rob 130.5, Sandra 124, Henry 120, and Holmesy 103.5. With regards to the constructors, Alpha Tauri are leading the constructors with 166, and we've got McLaren with 157, Alpine with 152, and then Mercedes a bit further back with 124, Ferrari with 122, and I think Williams are already out of it with 102. They are 64 points, 61.5 points behind leaders in Alpha Tauri. Now Alpha Tauri have Stein, who hasn't raced for a little while, and Calcis. Calcis is not racing tonight either, so Tauri will not be picking up any points. McLaren, however, have got Donny Lee and Henry racing for them, so they're primed to pick up some points. But Henry, unfortunately, hasn't had the best luck. I don't think I've seen him finish a race around Jeddah in either SFR or NRL. So Henry's got some redemption. He's got some redemption. And who's the other team? It's Ferrari. They are with Holmesy and Exotic, both of them with the driver this evening. Alpine, Michael Kenya and Kelly will bringing home the bacon for Alpine. Just a lot of inside curve there. It's still managed to keep it valid. very funny. The track limits of this track are broken still. Unfortunately, the exit of the pit lane causes a lot of penalties. The entry to the pit lane causes a lot of unnecessary penalties. And sometimes all you have to do is look at a curve and it gives you a warning or a validation. And sometimes you can just completely ignore the curves and go over the white line, and you won't get anything back from it. So Foster Cable goes into P8. Mr. Root is a big runner form, with his friend Jack is watching this evening. He's his biggest fan. Always looks for the volume too loud, is it? Or turn the game volume down? But can't you hear? Escape from here and do some business. Hold the line. Just turn that up when you do that. Right. Tommy Lee, let me know if that is any better for you. So, we are every time they go round it, they seem to be taking more of the corner and it's not invalidating it, so I think we can get away with quite a bit there. As Benjamin goes across the line, he does improve and he goes to a 1:27.469. Who else is on the lap? So one of the championship leader, Kelly Robb, bottled the SFR Championship last week. He was in for the shout at that, but lost out to Honesy. It was Kelly and Corbins who were challenging Honesy for the title, and Honesy ended up walking away with his third SFR Championship. Honesy today in the Ferrari, looking to capitalise on his good run of form he's been in recently. Not the not the greatest qualifier in the world. He is invalid on this lap, but he is going back into the pits, I believe. He's already done one lap on those tyres. Kelly Robb just ahead of him. Toss the cables back in the pit, so Vina is on an invalidated lap. NRL Ben is on a lap, and he's going to look to try and keep Vina in the way there. Not sure if that put him off too much. I don't think it did. I think he was alright. Absolutely on the limit through that chicane. I would tell you corner numbers, but I'm not going to because there are far too many. If you don't even need to know about half the time. Half of them aren't even corners, they're just kinks or bends in the road. So I'm not going to go through corner numbers with you, I'm just going to tell you there's a couple of sections. The S's, the horseshoe, the chicanes, that's about it. Most drivers appear to be running out of ERS before the lap is finished. Ben goes 2 seconds faster as he jumps up to P9 alongside his teammate Mr. Woot, who is invalidated. Henry has gone 10th and a bit quicker. So he's now within 10th and a half of Samba, but still on the first row, but not on pole position. Obviously it's not imperative that you put the car on pole position because you have a sprint qualifying, a 5-lap race to set the grid after this. You just want to get yourself up as high as possible, but you will also have the chance to capitalise on any mistakes that your competitors make. Just noticing the video is quite grainy, isn't it? I don't know, is everyone getting that grainy view? I've had a few issues with my internet recently, to the point where it went down to, it's awful, isn't it? Oh, that's unwatchable. Why is that happening? I'm not too sure why. Is everyone seeing that? Or is it just me? Try that again. So how many long is left? There's 3 minutes left in the session. It's just crashed out. So, not too bad. That's better. That's alright for me now. Hopefully it's alright for everyone else. I do always like to make sure that you can see what I'm seeing on the screen, and it doesn't look too potato anymore. Yeah, I've had a few issues with my internet recently. Went down to 5 megabits a second for the last 3 weeks, which is a bit of a pain. Had the engineer out this week and he has reconnected a few things. Loose connection in the box down the end of the road. So he's re-secured something up and it all seems to be working. Back up to about 25, 30 megabytes. Which still isn't brilliant in this day and age, but it's the best I can get in my little village. I live in a little village in Sussex. It's the best we're going to get. So, Dommy Lee is starting his one-shot qualifying attempt. This is it. If he invalidates, that's his qualifying over and done with. He seems to be pretty much on the limit at this point in the time now. I mean, he absolutely doesn't care if he invalidates. Absolutely on the limit through probably the hardest section of the track. So from now, he should be alright. We've got a yellow flag up ahead. I think it looks like it's a Red Bull going slowly to allow it pass through. Possibly on and out lap against Congo Croft. No, he's on a flying lap, so maybe he's made a mistake. Before you come to a complete stop at this next part of the track with a Ferrari alongside him. Who was that? It's Zotic is backwards. There's nothing too different to what we normally see. Congo Croft on the left-hand side of the track. Dommy is absolutely on a mission here to try and get high up as quick as possible, so as close to the left-hand side of the wall as he possibly can without doing any damage. Okay, another person who's just the commentary really quiet. Right, let me fiddle about with some more settings just as Dommy goes across the line, and he goes into P7 with a 27.6. Okay. Right. Right, I fiddled about with as many settings as I possibly could. Samba goes faster actually with a 1:26.256. That's a good time for him. He's on, absolutely smashes pole. 3/10. Henry's not going to get a chance to go out again. Donny D currently in P4 didn't manage to improve his time from earlier. That's still a pretty good time to start on the second row. He is ahead of Vengeance, ahead of Tombo Croft in P6. Donny Lee got P7. Still got Holmesy. He's still on a lap. He's 3.5, maybe 4 tenths up on his best time as he comes towards the end of the lap. So this is going to see him jump at least into P7, I believe, possibly even P6 if he can find even more time in the final couple of corners. Comes around the final corner, yellow flags up ahead, but it won't get in his way, and he goes across the line into P7. So yeah, 2 tenths off Tombo Croft, 2 tenths ahead of Donny Lee. Donny Lee drops down to P8. Now the championship leader, look at him down in P9, he's struggling here. He did say he was going to struggle earlier, and he has struggled today. Michael Kenya never actually set a time. He's been on track all 18 minutes, and he hasn't managed to set a time. So, Dax, if you're watching, do let me know if the commentary is now a bit louder. Hopefully it is. I have adjusted the microphone volume, adjusted the party volume, so hoping that does sort it all out. And we can go racing at some point with loud enough comms. So that is qualifying over and done with. As I said, we are heading into sprint afterwards, but Samba does lead qualifying, and if he wins this race he will lead the championship as well. He's got a 6-point deficit, or 6.5-point deficit to Cali, so if he wins this he goes into the final race ahead by half a point. Good luck to Samba, good luck to Cali Rob. There's also throwing in Holmesy to the mix and Henry to the mix as well. So we're going to have a bit of a spicy race. Obviously it's very tight, very twisty. Not a lot of brilliant overtaking spots. End of DRS zones and through the DRS zones are the best bet. And we will see what happens to the drivers a little bit later on. So now we go into a 5-lap race. Now who is your money on as we come into this race? Me personally, Samba. He does not make mistakes. If he does make a mistake, then that is what's going to lose in the race, because there's not a lot of chance. If you make a mistake, there isn't a lot of chance to come back in 5 laps. So everyone's got to be on the money. You don't want to, risk a good qualifying position by trying to gain another one. If you know you have pace, maybe just sit back, relax. But don't do a Lance Stroll and a Latifi and just let drivers go past you and then crash into each other. That's not what you particularly want to see in the racing. Whilst we just wait for the lobby to ready up, it looks like it has. So we've got 10 seconds remaining before we go racing, and we obviously drivers are starting on their qualifying tyres in this race, but for the main race they can choose whatever tyre they like. I think we're going straight in without a formation lap. I believe we're going to go racing, and we are away. Right, let me get some stuff up. As Samba got away well, Henry got away well. There's a Haas up the inside of Kachow. Kachow's trying to keep the inside line. The Haas is going around the long way around, which has got it done. That's a good move there from Dundee. Gets ahead of Kachow. And a few other drivers coming through in the background. I think it's all pretty much line astern. Tommy Lee is gaining 2 on Holmesy. Holmesy's dropped 2. Ben is up 1 with Mr. Wood dropping down 1. And the 2 Williams going wheel to wheel. As Ben goes a bit wide there, but Mr. Wood cuts back in. Toss the cables, looking to make any kind of gains on Mr. Wood. Are we going to see a move for the overtake into the horseshoe? We are. Toss goes round the long way, round the outside. That's a good move there. And Mr. Wood drops down another in spot, and Alpha Tower all over his back. That's Arena, who is trying to get past Mr. Wood as well. Mr. Wood's had a horrible start to this race, and he's dropped down 2 positions already, and he's looking like he's going to probably drop another one. Ben went a little bit wide there with toss the cable. I think Toss is dropping back a bit. He's made a mistake, and Mr. Woot's getting Toss back. Toss up the outside. Mr. Woot up the inside with Havina trying to go around the outside. Look at that from Havina up the inside of Toss. And who's that? That is the Dace. Then it's St. Martin trying to take advantage there. It looked like he's got Toss as well. He's going to have the outside line for the final corner. Is he going to absolutely send it on Havina? This is good battling in the midfield. Havina takes up the apex on the inside. Last minute change to the inside, and Dace gets Toss the caber. Toss has dropped 2 now. And Havina's gained 1. Dace has gained 2 positions from the start. Cali Rob's had a good start. He's at 3 positions. I will jump on board with them in a second. Let's go to them now, actually. So Stuart Little gets the first time penalty of the 5-lap race. 2 seconds. Cali Rob up 3 positions, as I already mentioned. He's into P6. Only change in the top 5 is Dundee up 1, Kuchao down 1. Kuchao's going to be pretty decent around here, so 2 drivers going very wide there. That's Congo Croft and Donald Lee. I'm not surprised if they're going to pick up a warning for that, as Holmesy is also trying to get in on the action with these 2 drivers as well. Yellow flag, yellow flag, yellow flag. It is 3 cars at the back. I believe it's Havina, it's Toss, and it's Dace. Dace and Toss have had to come in together there. That's unfortunate between them. It looks like Dace has got his front wing. Hopefully Toss has as well. I don't think either of them lost anything. I think they probably just lost a bit of their egos between each other. And Toss has had the worst start of all, down 5 positions. Stuart's up 4. He has got a 2-second penalty. So is Tonko Croft, and he is wheel-to-wheel with Dommy Lee. Dommy Lee's got the inside into the final corner. No DRS games between these 2, and Dommy Lee goes up and gets that move done and dusted. Samba is setting fastest lap after fastest lap, but Henry is sticking with him. And Thomas going to try and make another move. Is he going to go up inside or outside? It's right on board with him. He switched to the inside. Dommy takes the outside, but Dommy will have the inside for turn 2. Tom brakes very late and takes the very aggressively takes the apex on turn 2 as well, and all perfectly legal. Didn't necessarily push him off. He braked later and got ahead at the corner, and was entitled to lots of space in turn 2 because of that. No, Holmesy goes round the outside of Dommy Lee and into P8. So Dommy Lee's now dropped down to P9. His starting position is P8, so he has dropped 1 spot. Kelly Rob out on his own in P6, Vengeance up ahead in P5. Henry is following Sam nicely at the minute. I think 2 mental going on there, as Havina is going very wide in the background. Toss is now up to P16, Dace is in P15, Mark of Kenya up 2 into P14, Stuart Little into P13 with another 2 seconds. This is probably going to see him drop quite a few spots towards the back of the grid. Yeah, P4, 4 seconds with Tom Goprof and Vengeance, both with 2. Let's go to the front, because Henry is literally on the back of Samba as we come. DRS is going to open up. We're on lap 3 of lap 5, just about to start lap 4. So 2 laps remaining, laps 4 and laps 5 to go. Henry is closing, gaining, and he's going to go up the inside of Samba into turn 1. Kuchao sets the fastest for the race. Henry takes provisional pole for the 5-lap sprint. Samba got a better exit, but not good enough to make any kind of move into turns 3, with Dundee getting very interested between these 3 as well. Kuchao also setting good pace. So Dundee and Kuchao obviously saving a bit of ERS, maybe using a little bit more up towards the end of the stint. And they are now right on the back of the 2 drivers up ahead. Mr. Woot is pretty close and pretty much pushing Tom Goprof through this section of the track before we head down to the braking zone at the Horseshoe. Mr. Woot unfortunately just picked up a 2-second penalty, which is going to see him drop. He's not going to want to fight too hard, because he is going to lose at least 1 position, and he's round. Mr. Woot is round. That is the curse of the commentator. He's not going to want to fight too hard in the spins. Right, let's jump back to the front, because the drivers are pretty much... Kuchao is being dropped a little bit, so he hasn't got as much ERS actually. The drivers ahead have all got decent tanks worth. So Henry seems to have the better pace here, but we have all got DRS, and let's go jump on board with these 2. They're playing DRS games. Henry gets away with that. Dundee's going to have a shot now at Samba into turn 1. We're going to go 3 wide possibly. Samba's got the DRS. Henry has got no DRS. He's an absolute sitting duck. Dundee's going to try around the outside as he... Henry's up the inside of Dundee, but Dundee gets that move done on the final lap, and they've tagged each other. They've crashed. Oh dear, Kachow takes full advantage, and Dundee drops down to P3, Henry in P4, and Henry gets full blame from Cody's for that, for a 2-second penalty coming Henry's way. They both haven't got rear wings. I know Dundee, definitely saw Dundee's fall off, and he's pretty much pushing him through the S's section. And that's going to be galling for Dundee now, because he got pushed into the wall, and now he's also losing hand over fist. He's got Vengeance right up his inside. You can see Dundee's front wing end plate completely missing there, and this is also good news for Dundee has got absolutely no turn in. Going to get Cali Robb interested as well. Samba is currently leading the race, the sprint race, with Kachow in P2, Henry in P3, and Cali Robb absolutely bumping. Dundee is getting banged out of the way in this race. And Holmesy's taking advantage as well. Holmesy's got DRS. He's going to try and go around the outside of Cali Robb as he's going to try and switch back. Right. Oh, and Dundee bangs into the wall again. Is Holmesy going to have enough chance to get down to the line? Let's jump on board. It's going to be wheel to wheel across the line. Holmesy does in the end on time penalties. Ben comes across the line in P9. Tomgo Croft is dropping down with time penalties, which puts Marco Pena in P10, Exotic in P11, Mr. Wood in P12, Tomgo Croft in P13, Dace in P14, Stewart in P15, Toss in P16, and Havina, because he had a few issues in that race. I don't think he's losing half the front. He's lost half the front wing as well, as he comes around the final corner to complete the sprint qualifying session. So that was pretty standard up until the final lap, when we went pretty much 3 wide into turn 1. Dundee and Henry had to come in together. Samba drove off into the distance, and Kachow took full advantage. Mark Kenya started at the back and came back to P10, so he gets the Cody's driver of the day. So now we are going to be looking at doing the 50% race coming up shortly. Right, so we're back in the lobby. We're going to be readying up very shortly once the lobby is reset and the assists and everything is put back on. Not the assists, the lobby rules. So obviously there'll be no qualifying, there'll be a 50% race, and the grid has got to be set. So we'll join me back shortly when we will go over all of that. Right, I'm back. Bloody kids, eh? Hey, bloody kids. Right, here we go. Go find my phone quick. Right, so we're getting a few drivers for 25 seconds before the lobby starts. Samba, Kachow, Henry all opting for the medium tyre. Vengeance, Honesy, Kelly, Rob all opting for the soft. Then we've got a run of 6 drivers. Dundee, Dommy, Ben, Kenya, Exotic and Woot on mediums. Tongo, Prof and Dace on softs. Stuart, Toss on mediums. And Havina's just switched to a medium last minute there as the lobby readies up. So we've got about 3/4 of the grid on mediums and the other on softs. Formation lap, thankfully. Been running up and down the stairs, so a bit out of breath, so it gives me a chance to get my breath back. I'm very unfit. Well, just quickly going through the Discord while I was away, it all kicked off on there, bloody hell. I would ask what the weather forecast is, but we are currently in the Middle East, so it's going to be rainy, windy, probably a hailstorm a bit later on. No, it's going to be clear as anything, it's going to be dry, and it's going to be intense. I mean, the drivers, they're all sat in their comfy seats at home. If you're in real life, you're sat basically a couple of millimetres from the floor, only getting a couple of sips of water every couple of laps. So there's relative comfort, but stress levels are going to raise very shortly. And we're going to go racing. So down to Havina in P17, he will be joining the grid as the last driver on the set of medium tyres. Let's quickly just confirm what tyres everybody's on. Medium, 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 soft, 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 medium, 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 soft, soft, medium, medium, medium. Basically, there you go. Let me get the position changes back. Let's jump on board with Samba. Horrible camera angle. Let's hope it does change. It's not going to. There we go. Right, Samba on the left, Kachow on the right. The lights go out. We go racing. The lights go out. That means we go racing. Kachow gets away well. Horrible camera angle. It looked like the hats of Dundee went quite wide into the wall. Kachow was fighting with Sam for the lead. You've got Henry trying to go round the outside of Kachow, stretched back into the line. What's going on? Dommy and Dundee. Dommy gets ahead of Dundee. He's dropped back to P8 now, so from a good position P3 during the sprint race, down to P7, now down to P8. What other changes we've got? Kelly Rob is ahead of Holmesy, so Kelly into P5, and he's got Dommy Lee for company. That is a William that was bending very wide there. That's being sprayed up. Looks like we're going 3 wide. Alpine, Ferrari, and Aston Martin as Dace goes up the inside. Sorry, and look at that. Exotic is pushed. Little, was that into the wall? No, it was Tom Go Prof. He's still driving though. He hasn't lost his wheel, so he's not DNF from the race. But that was insane. I think Exotic decided to do a bit of bumper car racing. So no safety car, no virtual safety car, which is good news for their drivers. Everyone apart from Tom Go Prof, who's on 11 seconds. Gaps wise, you've got Vengeance 2.5 tenths behind Henry, just up ahead. Vengeance is saying in the Discord how fast everybody appeared to be. I think he's struggling for a bit of all out. He's got good pace, but not racing pace that appears at the moment in time. Who knows if the strategy will come to fruition and he will get his eye in. Dundee is taking on Dommy Lee, and Dommy Lee goes back up the inside. Dundee is a wheel to wheel with Dommy Lee through turn 2 and gets ahead. And I think it's going to be the Williams of Ben taking advantage and the Aston Martin of Dace. Dommy was on the inside and had that corner face to get out of it through the tarfish. And we've also got Mark of Kenya now pretty much pushing Dace through the SS section. We've got a yellow flag, and that's Tom Go Prof, and he is out of the race. Crashed out in the final corner, I believe. Didn't bring out the safety car though, it's gone pretty quick. So he is, it's a one stop, easy one stop, soft to medium, soft to hard, medium to soft. So I'm looking at all drivers coming in at about the same time. We're 2 laps into a 25 lap race already. Henry is ahead of Kachow now. Kachow is in P3, Henry's in P2, so Henry is going to try and catch back up. Possibly a warning there for Henry for that corner. But we've seen Henry, he can catch up and he can pass Samba. He's going to be trying to do all that over again. Obviously, if Samba wins the race, he does take control of the championship for the final race in Brazil next week. A bit twitchy on the exit there from Kachow. It looked like, I don't know if he was trying to get the lead himself or if he was giving a bit of a wave to the driver behind. But DRS has now been enabled, obviously quite a few DRS zones. There is 1, 2, twitchy there from the exit. Henry back in still a bit on the exit, driving that thing. Dace and Dommy are wheel to wheel again, and Dace is trying to get back ahead. This is where Dace had to get out of it. He has to get out of it again. Dommy is driving as aggressively as he possibly can, and Dace is fighting as hard as he possibly can. The comments coming through, so I'll flick through the comments. It's now gone. Flash it up in a second. Chat. Yeah, it was a bit tasty, B16 with Discord. Oh, and who's that? That's Dundee, who was part of it. He is now, I don't know what's happened to him. He's come to the corner and decided he just didn't want to race anymore. And now he's decided he wants to race, I believe. He just got out of whatever was going on there. I think he might have got pushed out, maybe just waited to come back on track and left him alone, because he is getting bumped and bumper card everywhere, every which way but loose today. So he's now down to P15 after such a good qualifying session, such a good sprint qualifying session until the last lap. Now Henry sets the fastest lap of the race. He's gained 7 tenths on Samba in 2 laps. He's now down to within half a second, should I say, 5 tenths behind. Vengeance is in P4, chasing down the trail. We've got Funk here as well. Hello, Funk. Dundee is spelling the pit lane. I believe that is going to be a retirement. Yes, yellow flag's coming up. Dundee's left the session. So, what was I saying before that happened? I can't remember. Old age. Stewart's got the first time penalty in the sprint qualifying, and he's also got the first time penalty in his race as well. It's 3/10 gap between. Dace is up to P7. Look at Dace going. It's a serious pace around the track. I mean, that's just dropping back quite a bit. Lost a couple of positions. He has been racing drivers pretty hard though, so that probably would come into it as well. He's a medium Dace is on the drivers on softs. Dace, Holmesy, Cali and Vengeance, they are all looking pretty much more aligned. Apart from Dace has got some chasing up to do because he was in that battle with Donald for so long. We've got Holmesy, Cali and Vengeance and Kachow just up ahead. Henry's now within 0.3 of Samba. We could see a move for the overtake of the race here. It looks like Henry is staying out of the slipstream. Picked his lane early on the inside, but he's not going to be close enough to be into turn 1. No, he's going to stay behind. Not sure what his strategy is here. Samba's got 30% ERS, Henry's got 45. Chow picks up a 3-second penalty, and Vengeance is now ahead. He made a move for the overtake. I believe that would have happened down into turn 1. I was too busy watching Henry and Samba battle it out. Dommy is now ahead of NRL. Ben's going to fight back, is he? No, Ben backs out of that, and he's got his teammate just behind him, Mr. Woot. Mr. Woot's now through, actually. So I think Ben let Mr. Woot through. Jonesy is right on the back of Cali Rob, a championship contender. Pretty much gave the championship to Jonesy last week. Completely. It was his own race, his home race, his Dutch. And he had the championship race at the Zandvoort circuit. And absolutely smashed it. Obviously, he loves that track and tries the absolute wheels on his Aston Martin that he races with in SFR. And Stuart doesn't consider a second 3-second time penalty, so we've got 2 penalties for Stuart, 1 for Chow. And Holmesy is pretty much pushing Cali Rob through these series of corners. And Kachow is now going to drop. He's dropped down to P4, and Holmesy goes ahead. So Kachow is basically heeding the advice from Dommy in the race briefing in the Discord, where reserve drivers should not be coming into the pits. Has he got wing damage, or is he retiring? I'm not quite sure what's happening here. He's heeding Dommy Lee's advice of the reserve drivers not getting involved in the championship battle. He has got wing damage. He's changing his front wing. He's going into a hard tyre. Possibly a little bang of wheels. Henry has taken the lead of the race whilst we watched Kachow come into the pits. So is Samba going to have some reply? Is he going to be able to reply to the pace that Henry clearly has? Henry's got some serious pace around this track. Once again though, he's never finished a race that I have watched him or been involved with around Jeddah. So there's always that opportunity. It's normally at this section coming up he seems to struggle with. It's very easy to lose your car on that inside curve and bang into the wall. Obviously if you do spin, you're going pretty fast at this track. You are going head first and fancy free into the wall, and pretty much Congo Croc was pretty lucky earlier. He didn't end up retiring in the pit lane himself. No, he didn't. He crashed out in the final corner. Very easy, obviously, to crash out here and lose a wheel. And as soon as you lose a wheel, you are out of the race. Johnny Lee picks up a 3-second time penalty. He's currently in P8. So one driver on the hard tyres. That's Kachow. He has to come into the pit to change his front wing. 5 drivers, apologies, on the soft tyres. It's Vengeance, Cali Rob, Holmesy, Dace, and Mr. Woot and Dommy Lee are going at it. Into the final corner. Let's go to the off-board shot between these two. They're pretty much side by side. Dommy Lee has got DRS, which is giving him a pace advantage into turn 1. He gets ahead of Mr. Woot. Mr. Woot cuts back. Does he? No, filters back in behind. Dommy Lee keeps P7, but for how much longer? Now, Henry and Samba have overtaken each other for the lead of the race again. This is turning into a bit of a ding-dong battle at the front of the race. We are 7 laps into a 25-foot lap race. It's all going to be over before you know it. Samba's put a personal best purple sector in sector 1, so he is starting to show a bit of pace. Saves some of his ERS actually. So is Henry. They're both on 62 and 50% respectively. So Samba has used a little bit more, and he's going to have to use some more to defend because Henry is going to be coming at him hammer and tongue. After this chicane in the DRS zone opens up, so we've gone through. This is the speed trap. As you can see on the track map, the detection point is here. So as long as we go in a second over that line, you will get DRS. Henry's got DRS, he's got it open now. Is he going to play? Are they going to play games with each other? I believe yes, Henry's playing games. He's backed up there, the cheeky little monkey. And he's going to try and attempt to make the move, but he gets a bit of oversteer. That's the problem you have. You can try and play games. he can put yourself in a position, but you've got the overspeed. It is very overpowered here, is the DRS, and he's already ahead before the braking zone into turn 1, and Samba slips back into P2. Kelly Roberts hoping that these two keep battling it out as the championship leader now joins the battle. So actually, if you look at the top 4, Benji's in the pits, he's got a fresh set of medium tyres on. It's quite early, but they will see him through to the end of the race. So, and Hainsey has tapped the wall there. I don't think he's done any damage. We didn't see anything fly off. Samba is 3 tenths behind, so we've got the 4 championship defenders currently running in the top 4 positions. Henry currently in P1 with Samba just behind him, only half a second. Are they going to start playing games with each other again? Samba's got 55%. Henry really is saving his ERX. He's up to 75% now. That's pretty good for this time. Oh, I thought that was... I saw Henry go wide, and then I saw a warning flash up at the top, thinking it was going to be Henry picking up a time penalty. It wasn't. It was Stewart picking up his 3rd one of the race, so he's now up to 9 seconds. Samba, once again, they're both playing games with each other. They both don't want the DRS overtake into the final corner. They want to make the overtake happen into turn 1. Samba is pretty much already on the back, and he's going to be ahead, well ahead before turn 1. And they're basically just swapping, exchanging for the lead. Kelly Robb stays ahead of Holmesy. Holmesy in P4. Dace is in the pits. Again, an early pit stop for Dace. And he's probably going to put the medium tyres on. These go medium, yeah, medium tyres for Dace. Stewart Little goes up to P9. Bennett in P8. Havina into P7. These are a good race, actually, Havina. I'm starting at the back. Yeah, 10 positions he's gained. That's an awesome race from Havina. Marcus Kenya not having quite as good a race as he had in the sprint quali. He's down 1 to P11. And that is with all the pit stops happening around him as well, and being very close to the wall. They're running very wide. Not good. Couple of corners for Havina, but yeah, recovered and he's back on track. So 9 seconds worth of penalty to Stewart Little, 3 to Tommy Lee, and 3 for Chow. So Chow, the only driver on the hard tyres, is Exotic, who just picked up a 3-second time penalty for himself as well. Of course, the gaps here, we've got Holmesy and Kelly Robb. They are close together. We go into the chicane. We're going to have Henry. We've got DRS, but he probably will not make the move. I wonder if Holmesy, he's already running on low fuel mode. We haven't had a safety car yet. This is going to be an issue because drivers underfuel their cars, expecting safety cars, and when you don't get them, they're going to run out of fuel. So Henry has got the DRS. He is going to try. I think he's too far back, personally. I don't think he's going to be alongside enough for the first corner, but he hasn't used up. He's nearly at 95% ERS. And Samba's got 40%, so we've got double the amount of battery power to try and make an overtake happen. Dommy Lee and Mr. Woot are fighting out again. Dommy Lee gets ahead of Mr. Woot into P5. And Kelly Robb and Holmesy have also switched positions. So Holmesy obviously got that down into turn 1 as we were watching Henry and Samba battle it out. So Holmesy now moves above the championship leader of Kelly Robb into P3 onto the podium. Dace and Exotic are battling it out into turn 1 themselves. Dace gets ahead of Exotic, his fellow countryman in his Aston Martin, and he moves up into P12. He has just made a pit stop as well, so he is trying to use this tyre advantage. We've got Stewart Little up ahead, running very wide through the S's on the exit of the S's section. DRS is enabled as we head into the horseshoe. Is Stewart going to look to make a move at the inside of Ben? No, he doesn't. Slots back in behind him, but Ben is going to get a good exit out there. He's already pretty much alongside Stewart Little. He now slots back in behind, and he's pretty, again, St. Henderson is quite a lot, but pretty much pushing the cars through. All Stewart has to do is let off a little bit, and Hendricks is right up into his gearbox, getting all up on personal. Avina appears to be leading his train a little bit at the minute. Mr. Woot and Dommy Lee having their own little battle themselves on track. So that's pretty neat and tidy as Stewart Little picks up another 3 seconds. He's currently at 12, not even halfway through the race, and he's already halfway to being disqualified. Mr. Woot goes round the outside, but Dommy Lee probably wanted that to happen, because Dommy Lee is now going to get the DRS on the protection zone here. Dommy gets a good exit, wheel to wheel there in the background. A bit twitchy, I saw a few cars, and Dommy Lee's going to be back ahead. They're literally just switching positions over the course of 2 corners. Mr. Woot has to be a little bit more clever I think next time round, wait for the DRS. Round the final corner and then get ahead into turn 1 rather than get ahead into the final corner and then lose it back at the next one. Samba and Henry switch positions again, so Henry in P2, Samba in P1. We've got a yellow flag. What's the yellow flag? It's a slow moving Havina. And also a, who was it? NRL bends around as well, unfortunately. No! Bends around. Has he got any wing damage? I can't see him in this camera angle, even this one's not good. Savina. Both have obviously got front wing damage. They're both struggling to get the car slowed down. Right. Mr. Woot in P6. Let's see what he does this time around. And we'll watch the cars that are held on the map. Samba and Henry, I believe, are playing games with each other. Henry stays behind. I'm going to stay on board here though and watch how, try and tell you what's going on at the front. So Samba's still ahead, Henry's still behind. Looks like that orange dot. Mr. Woot, do not make the overtake. Don't do it, Mr. Woot. You're only going to lose it again. Samba's still ahead of Henry into turn 1. So maybe Henry is just saving his tyres. Because what's going to happen here now is that Mr. Woot just needs to get a better exit, but it's not good enough. Tommy Lee has just got the slipstream and the DRS is so powerful here. He's going to get ahead. Mr. Woot, listen to me. If you're listening to this, you're probably not, but listen to me. Play a game. Don't overtake him into the final corner. Stay back. Stay back. Right. Henry's got a full battery bar. 100% ERS. He's been saving it. Samba has got 40%. He's got more than double the amount of battery power, which gives you about an extra 120 horsepower, I believe. So it does make overtaking a hell of a lot easier. Stewart is moving up a couple of positions because Ben and Havina are both in the pit stops. What tyres are they going for? 3 drivers on hards. Pichel 5-lap hold. Stewart's just put the hard on. Ben's just put the hard on. Havina's put softs on. And Toss the Cable's just put soft tyres. So Henry and Samba. I think Henry's gone up the inside actually into turn 1. And he's already ahead before. Maybe he's coming into the pits this lap. Anyone pitting? Samba's pitting. Samba pulls the trigger. Right, what tyre is he going to go on? So Henry's got free rein now. He's got a free track. He's got no one to battle with in front and behind him. Samba is going for the soft tyres very early. So he's actually going to end up doing more laps on the soft tyres than the more durable mediums. And Cali Rob now swaps out his softs for mediums. Now both tyres will easily go to the end, but Samba is on the fresher set of soft tyres compared to Kelly Rob's fresher set of mediums. NG moves up into P2 on 12-lap old softs. Samba comes out 12.5 seconds behind Holmesy on fresh soft tyres. So Henry's got to be careful here because Samba is going to have the undercut now. And obviously with the strategy not being too dissimilar to depending on what tyre you're on, there's going to be, I think Mr. Woot is finally, no, this is a horseshoe, so Mr. Woot, I thought that's going to run off in the corner there. No, Mr. Woot's still behind Donny. Mr. Woot either needs to wait for an overtaking before around the final corner, or undercut. Mr. Woot gets a brilliant exit out there. Is he going to be ahead of Dommy Lee? That's into the exit section. I believe he is. There's still will to will, but no, he backs off. And Dommy had a better line through there, a bit more speed. Didn't scrub quite as much through those twisted corners. And Dommy Lee stays ahead now. Mr. Woot does not overtake into the final corner. He's got Mark of Kenya taking full advantage, and Dommy Lee's going to lose a couple. Dommy Lee is wheel to wheel. He's going to pretty much pushing. It's Cali Rob. It wasn't Mark of Kenya. It was Cali Rob. As Mr. Woot is finally, is he going to make a move? He's going to go round the outside of Dommy Lee into turn 1. He's going to have the inside line for turn 2. Dommy Lee doesn't cut back across as Holmesy comes out the pits in P4. They're wheel to wheel. He comes out wheel to wheel with Cali Rob, and he's ahead of Cali Rob still. The undercut didn't work, and Henry comes out 2 seconds behind Samba. Samba had a 2-second undercut. So pitting 1 lap earlier, so that's brilliant news for Samba. got a bit of breathing space for a little while and try and save some battery power. I'm not sure if he's going to though. I think he might try and use it to try and get out of Henry's chasing McLaren. Yellow flag. It's an Aston Martin. It's not Dace. It can only be one man. Ka-chow! Ka-chow is round. I don't think he did any damage. Right, now, Mr. Root, for the 5th, and God knows how many times, I think I've already said it more than 5 times, don't overtake into the final corner. You're coming up to it. Save your battery, mate. Save your battery. You're going to have a whole lap. If you don't overtake into the final corner, you will have a whole lap to try and get away from Dommy Lee. Stay behind him. Don't let him overtake. Don't overtake him. Stay behind him, son. Come on. Samba sets the fastest lap of the race, and Henry is catching up. He's already 1.8, so he's already gained half a second on him. What's going to happen here? They're both coming in the pits. Mr. Woot comes in the pits, and so does Dommy Lee. That's pretty... Oh. Mr. Woot gets the car slowed down a bit early, and Dommy Lee using all of the pit lane that he possibly can. Now, who's going to come out first here between these two? Obviously, Mr. Woot has to go a bit further down. Technically, all the pit stops are exactly the same time, so Dommy Lee shouldn't come out ahead of Mr. Woot. Quite a big gap actually between them. Maybe Dommy didn't have to serve any penalties. Did he have any wing damage maybe? He's come out quite far behind him. So he must have had some kind of wing damage. He's lost 5 seconds, yeah, so it was wing damage that Dommy Lee had. He had to change his front wing. That's why he's come out so far behind. So Mr. Woot now has got 5 seconds left of breathing space between himself and Dommy Lee. And Vengeance is trying to close up to the back, and Ben and Chow are going at it. Chow is in the pit lane, that's why. Another pit stop for Chow, and he is going to the soft tyres to the end of the race. 10 more laps. Got 10 laps remaining. Now, what's the gap between Henry and Samba? It's 1.3. Henry has absolutely ruined his battery. He had 100% coming out of the pits. He's now down to 35%. We've got a yellow flag. What's this? What's this? What's this? It's not Callie, is it? No, it's Ben. Ben had a bit of an issue. Right. Holmesy is dropped down to P4 now. Conley Rob is ahead. Holmesy's dropped out with DRS, but he looks like pretty close there. He didn't have DRS down that straight. Not quite sure what's going on there. Dacey's up to P5. He's having a brilliant race, and he should be able to go to the end on those tyres. Vengeance up into P6. Mark of Kenya puts the soft tyres on, jumps up into P7 shortly, but then drops down to P8, and I think Dominic's going to go past him down to P9. Exotic is too far behind to make any kind of impact as Mark of Kenya comes out the pits, and he's going to be racing Dominic actually. All on the soft tyres though, so tyre strategies have gone a bit out of the window with a couple of incidents and accidents. Holmesy is chasing down Callie Robin. Henry is chasing down Sanders. Sanders used all of his battery, and so has Henry, so they're both pretty much on the limit. They're going to be using, all they've got now is driving skill to get them through. Henry is now in DRS for another second. He's going to be using the DRS to try and get as close as he possibly can, and these two are going to be going at it again. We're going to have a race to the finish at this point in time, I believe. He's using his DRS to try and catch up to Callie Rob, but he's going to be sensible and back out. But I think he's going to be nervous at this point in time because his fuel is low. Again, expecting a safety car, and hasn't come. At this moment in time, he's not going to have enough fuel to finish the race. You're going to see that flash red in probably 3 laps time, and it gives you about a 2-lap warning before you run out of fuel completely. So by lap 23, you'll be limping around the track. The same thing happened in SFR last season. He ran out of fuel for 2 laps on in low fuel mode. Henry now within half a second of Samba. And he's starting to say, they're both starting to save some battery. So they both know what to do and what not to do with the battery pack. I don't know what to do, I just press it and try and go fast, basically, half the time. I think that try being the operative word. Now, Samba and Dace are having a bit of a battle on track as well. Chow is overtaking Havina into the first corner, gets ahead of him. Easy DRS overtaken. Havina drops to P12, Kachow in P11. Is that move done and dusted? Yes. Yep, all done. Right. Go back to the front. It's Henry and Samba, and Henry switches back to the inside and gets ahead of him into the final corner. So Samba lets him through. Samba's going to have the switchback, gets a much better exit, and Samba's going to be ahead. Back ahead into turn 1, unless there's an incident. That's not going to be. The Samba is already back ahead, and Henry takes back into situation. 20% for Samba, 40% for Henry. So Henry's doing a better job of saving his battery. Henry 7/10 behind, 6/10 now behind Kelly. If you can just hear him fuel saving. He is fuel saving as much as he possibly can. He's lifting off the throttle. He's really not wanting to drive that Ferrari too fast at the minute. I think he's realised he's made a mistake, and he's got his fuel save basically for the last 7 laps. Going to have to lift the throttle off more than he's going to have to lift and coast. I don't think that's going to be enough to see him through at this moment in time. Any other driver on yellow fuel? Mark of Kenya is on yellow fuel, so he's going to have to start lifting and coasting. So is Exotic. Anyone else? Toss is normally the one that I would think he would have been, but he's not. Right. Back on board with Henry. He's half a second behind. Samba's saving grace here is there is a lap car coming up. Henry does filter back in. Samba goes that's very good there from Samba. He went wide purposely, slowed down and gave Henry the inside, and Samba going back for the overtake. And gets back ahead. That was very clever there from Samba. They're both playing every trick in the book at the minute, and that was Samba's turn to be a bit cheeky it just got on the brake, then got off it, round wide, and then Henry slipped through into P1. Gave up track position from Samba to Henry, but then Samba knew that he was going to have an easy overtaking. Dace gets overtaking of Vengeance, so he's ahead. Got a yellow flag, but it doesn't mean anything. It's the cable, I think it was at the back. I think he's been lapped now, actually. Yeah, he's been lapped by the two drivers on the front, Samba and Henry. And Kelly Rob is not too far behind, but he's going to be far enough behind at the end of the race. Oh, sorry. For a Jeddah race, there's not been massively exciting incidents. There's been a lot of overtaking early in the race. So it's just overworking my fragile little brain. Nothing else really happening through the field. The gaps are all pretty big. It's just this gap at the front. So it's Henry and Samba and Callie and Holmesy. Vengeance and Dace. Dace has just got past Vengeance. So what's going to happen here? Samba is taking his normal line into turn 1. So Henry's going to have the DRS. He's still got a lot of ERS as well compared to Samba. Absolutely dumping it all, but is he going to be close enough? He's not. Samba got a really good exit there. And I think Henry's setup is a bit more draggy than Samba's, so he's not being able to get as close as he possibly can to him. Now Vengeance and Dace have swapped positions. Vengeance back up into P5, Dace into P6 with a yellow flag. It is Toss the Caber who has retired from the session, so he's now he's retired, and that's his race over and done with. And we've got a red bull. Is that Stewart in the wall? I think he's okay. I think he just spun out. It looks like he's got all of his front wing. Hopefully he hasn't got any side pod or any side pod damage or rear wing damage. Henry and Samba are going at it again. Holmesy is still lifting and coasting. Telemetry, sorry. Let's see when he breaks this corner while I'm holding it. See what we'll do and looking and coach lift probably about now. Use the brake. Brake a little bit later. short shifting so quickly up in P8. He doesn't overrev the engine. What he'll do is lifting off, saving fuel, letting the car roll. Yeah, look, short shifting from 4 to 8 basically straight away. So he uses to save as much fuel as he possibly can. He's lifting off before turn 1, letting the car roll, and then using the brakes at the last minute just to get that extra bit of toe in at the front. Henry still hasn't been able to get past Samba. He's biding his time. Obviously, Samba got him in the last lap in the sprint quali. I think Henry's looking for a bit of redemption here. Vengeance and Daisy switch positions again, so Daisy into P5, Vengeance into P6. Mr. Wu having an absolute solid race down in P7. And he will also gain some positions because of time penalties. Let's have a quick check on time penalties. What we're looking at: Vengeance, Dace and Holmesy, the 3 drivers ahead of Mr. Wu, all have 3 seconds. It's not going to impact Holmesy unless he runs out of fuel. And Mr. Wu will gain 2 positions at the end of the race. If it stays like this and the gap stays similar, Mr. Wu will move up into P5. We've got Dolly Lee on 3 seconds, Kenya on 3 seconds, Exotic on 6. Chow on 6, Ben on 5 for speeding in the pit lane, and Stewart on 21 for the Ferrari off. It's Exotic. Has he got front wing, or is it still not attached? It's no front wing for Exotic. He's going to come in the pits. Right, Henry is ahead of Samba. Gets ahead before the turn. I think it was before the final corner actually, and they're wheel to wheel into turn 1, and Henry keeps the position. And Samba slots into P2 now. Henry's got to use a very twitchy rear end then from Henry. I think that's given Samba the chance to get past. No, it hasn't. Samba slots back into P2. Henry is leading the race, and he's going to have to use all of his battery power to try and stay ahead now. Vengeance 2 tenths behind Dason, goes back flying past Dason at turn 1. And Mr. Luke watching him from afar, hoping, and Vengeance completely outbraked himself into turn 1. And that could face the chance to get back, easy back overtake onto Vengeance. Vengeance lost a lot of time there. He's not wanting to get, because if you take too much corner, you get 10-second time penalty, which is not what you want. So he slowed down enough. To not get that penalty. Right, where is Samba? Where is Henry? For Henry's sake, there is a lap car coming up, so Henry will get, or has got DRS on Stewart. He's going to be ahead of him before the braking zone. Stewart gets well out of the way, and now Samba is going. So Henry should now use his battery pack as soon as the DRS zone comes across. It's open. He's not using his battery though. He's saving it. I think Samba is as well. I think they're going to wait. We've got lap 23, lap 24, lap 25 to go, so 3 more laps. I think they're both going to make a move on the final lap, and Henry's going to be a bit worried. Basically, you want to make your move now. You're doing it on the last lap. You want to do it up to the final corner. Let's see what happens between those. But Mr. Wu going to make it 3 wide. Is he into turn 1? Mr. Wu going to double overtake? Is he? No. Mr. Wu gets Dace, but stays behind Vengeance. Holmesy has dropped down to P7. He's out of fuel. Look at that, it's gone red. He's in the red. We've had no safety car. Holmesy is out of fuel. He will be, I said on lap 23 it will go for the final 2 laps. He underfueled by 2.5 laps. So he is currently running on low fuel mode. We'll go into that very, very soon. So he's going to lose positions now, unfortunately for him. That's his race, his strategy, big brain time out of the window. It's going to have huge implications for the championship. It's probably going to put him out of the championship contention, actually. Yeah, Samba he's used all his ERS actually as Samba. Is he going to be close enough, is he, for turn 1? He tries to look at the inside. He's going for the switchback round turn 2 there, wheel to wheel. But, oh, very twitching after Henry again. His rear end is twitching out that corner. Every single lap. And Mr. Woot's going to try and go up the inside. Is he of Vengeance? No, he's not. But Dace is trying to look around the outside. Thinks better of it now. We're coming around the final corner. They're going to go down to the turn 1 with DRS. Full Woot for Dace. I think Dace, sorry, Mr. Woot is going to get past Vengeance. And is Dace going to walk the final move? No, he's not. He was too far back. So Mr. Woot now having to move forward. It's a brilliant drive from him. Oh, and look at that. Samba's got a 3-second time penalty. When did that flash up? I didn't see that. Samba's got a 3-second time penalty. This is huge for the race. Henry is leading the race, and he hasn't given Samba a sniff at getting away from each other throughout the whole race. So I doubt very much that Samba's going to be able to get ahead and get a 3-second gap. They've been pretty much stuck together all race. And Dace and Vengeance have been together the whole time, and Honesy is officially out of fuel now. He's in low fuel mode. It's unfortunate for Honesy. He is only going 100 miles on the track. He's going to fall back quicker. He's going to have Chow on his case very soon, and Honesy now down in P9. Sad end to the race for Honesy. He was having a good run and trying to fuel save as much as he could, but that is the risk you take when you expect a safety car and it doesn't happen. Right, Samba. We enter the last lap now. We're on the last lap, did I say? Samba's going to look to make a move after the last chicane into the final corner. So let's see what Vengeance and Dace are doing into turn 1. Not a lot. Again, Dace is going to be waiting for the final corner. Honesy is limping around the track doing 110 miles per hour, which is about half, just under half of what a Formula 1 car can actually do at this point in the track. And Havina comes through. Easy overtake for Havina. Right, let's go to Samba. Right, this is the chance of Samba to try and get past just after the chicane. Right on board then with Samba through this part of the track. He's going to have using his ERS. He hasn't got much left. Henry's got 30%. Right, Samba is got the DRS. Stuart gets disqualified. And Samba wasn't enough. Honesy's retired from the session in the pit lane. He's just about to get lapped by those two drivers. Stuart's been disqualified. The last lap, we've lost that, but Henry wins the race. Runs out of fuel pretty much on the line. He was really touch and go for his fuel issue. But Henry wins. Samba in P2. Cali Robb is going to come home in P3. So the biggest loser of the championship contenders is Honesy. He is now out of championship contention. It's going to be down to these 3 drivers, and how close is he going to be? We will work that out at the end. The good news for McLaren as well, they get a good haul of points. Donnelly in P7 picks up 6 points from McLaren, and then add that to the 25 that Henry got, along with, who got the fastest lap? Honesy got fastest lap, so Henry picked up 25, so 31 points for McLaren. Mercedes picking up 18, Cali in the Alpine picking up 15, and Mr. Woot with a brilliant race in P4. Now we just got Mark of Kenya to cross the line, and Kachow. Mark of Kenya's out of fuel now. He's going to come home in limp home in P9. Kachow comes home in P8, and Havina's going to pick up a solitary point at the end of the race into P10. Exotic is being lapped, so he's already finished his race. Havina comes across the line, and then we've just got Ben. Let's wait for Ben. He's in the red fuel as well, so he underfueled his car. He probably will run out of fuel on the in lap at this point. Looks like he is all good. Yeah, comes across the line and finishes the race. Right, so congratulations to Henry. Brilliant race from him. Absolutely brilliant race, actually. Dace gets the driver of the day, and I will probably give it to him as well. Him and Vengeance have given us a lot of battles, and he came back through the field from the back of the grid after an incident in the sprint quali and an incident during the race as well. But Henry wins, finally gets some redemption for a couple of poor run of form here in this track. Wins the race. Samba comes in P2. He hasn't been beaten Samba for a long time, actually, when he's raced. He's pretty much dominated every race, and he's now winning. He's now beaten. Henry's beat him, and then the Alpine of Cali Robb on the podium as well. So our 3 championship contenders are all on the podium at this point in time, and they're all going to switch positions, but they're all going to make it even closer for the final round in Brazil next week. Right, I am also going to be in Brazil next week, but I'm going to be racing. I'm giving up working with SFR and NRL come the end of next week. So SFR was my last interaction last week. I left last week. I'm still in the servers, but I'm not going to be doing anything for the league for a little while. I'm taking a bit of a break, and I'm doing the same with CCR Network, same with NRL for next week. But I'm racing next week. I'm going to use that as my retirement race, and then so you'll see me on track next week, but a different commentator will be in the box. But thank you for listening. Thank you for joining and doing all that liking and subscribing jazz. Let me just have a quick run through here just for anyone wanted to see it. There you go. And yeah, that's that. I'll leave you in peace. Thank you for watching, and that's it. Over and out.